Kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids, because after that, y'all gotta go. It's a wrap for y'all, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to, okay? So, you know, let's just start to get our groove on a little bit. In an hour, we put the kids away, it's all good. All right, DJ, let's hit it. Let's do it.
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different.
But I do know this, that it's only 3 people that had contracts with Puff and Bad Boy.
The royal couple in the music industry, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, are trembling in their designer boots because some juicy new tea is leaking and it has their names all over it, girl. They have been making music, popping bottles, and stacking papers together for years, but now that friendship may be costing them dearly. The streets are claiming that there is evidence connecting them to Diddy's wild parties, and it doesn't look good. You know how BA and J always try to keep it classy, but it looks like they may have let loose at some of these famous get-togethers. And now the receipts are coming out, people are chatting, phones are ringing, and social media is ablaze with this juicy gossip. An immaculate image is going to become extremely chaotic. Get your popcorn ready because this drama is only beginning.
So earlier today, we reported to you that Piers Morgan decided to take down parts of his interview with Jaguar Wright, where she talked about and referred to Beyoncé and Jay-Z as monsters and alleged that these two have held people against their own will. In a statement from Beyoncé's attorneys, they said that these statements from Jaguar Wright were completely untrue and false, and asked that Piers Morgan take those clips down and to apologize, which Piers Morgan actually did. Well, now, and this is becoming a trend from celebrities, their attorney is speaking out on TMZ Live and addressing why Beyoncé and Jay-Z decided to speak out. And he says that what Piers did and what Jaguar said actually hurts the real victims.
This must have been shocking to you that somebody comes on a show and then kind of levels these vague-ish allegations. Were you kind of ready for something like this to eventually happen?
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, and I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice. And
so basically he's saying that they were willing to actually sue Piers Morgan over these statements. But Piers, in the moment when he was interviewing Jaguar Wright, or already was backpedaling, saying that, you know, we can't confirm or deny some of what she was saying, but has since went on his platform to denounce it. It's just not worth it for him. In the separate video that we did covering this story, we told you Piers Morgan is not just Piers Morgan on YouTube. It's not like Kempire here on YouTube. He has a monster house behind him, including Rupert Murdoch, who owns 50% of his YouTube channel. That is billions of dollars behind Piers Morgan. And one of the other things that I noted was the fact that Piers Morgan's contract with Rupert Murdoch's company, News UK, is up for negotiations now. So that could be a part of the motivation behind Piers Morgan. It's not worth it for him. However, take a listen to what the attorney says in regards to why this is so dangerous.
Let's now discuss these alleged freak-offs that have everyone's group chats exploding. What sort of mess was Diddy into that is causing the power couple in the music industry to lose sleep? Rumors of crazy evenings that could alter the course of events are circulating around the streets. These parties have long been legendary, but the most recent accusations are elevating the conversation to a new level. Rather than being just your average celebrity hangouts with expensive drinks in VIP areas, rumors are that these events were full-on orgies with some very dubious Diddy's parties were something out of a movie, not the kind you'd watch with your mother, according to sources close to the situation. They included drugs, sex, and other wild things that would make even the most experienced partygoer blush. And it wasn't just random people involved, apparently some well-known musicians were in the thick of it. But this is where things get really messy. There are rumors that these parties weren't merely for fun. Some people claim that Diddy was using them to control and manipulate people in the industry. Imagine having information about all the biggest stars and using it to get what you want. That's some next level power play, and it's got people shook. The whole thing blew up when Cassie Diddy's ex filed a lawsuit against him. She talks about years of abuse, and some of the details she's sharing are just plain horrifying. She's discussing physical violence and forced encounters with other men, among other things.
And acted accordingly.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited that kind of random rumor mill, whether it's disconnected from reality or what have you, and lifted it up. And by doing that, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the
Pause. This is the first time that we are having an actual celebrity, a celebrity that's close to the Diddy situation, actually address the situation. Besides Ray J. Besides Ray J, this is the first time the Carters have actually, in a way, through their representative, their attorney, is actually addressing the Diddy situation.
process of making sure that it is taken down everywhere?
What I am here to say is that in a situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody in this way. And so that's the real reason for action.
His words are very important because I do feel like on some level, I think he's talking about the exploitation of victims, but I also think there is an exploitation of Jaguar Wright, because I do believe, I do believe there is some truth to some of what she says. However, I do believe she does add a lot of sauce. And I've said this countless times that I believe that there is truth to what Jaguar has reported in regards to some of these folks. Yes, she's been in circles, but because she's been in those circles, maybe not for the last few years, she still has connections to those circles. But I also believe money has motivated her to add a little sauce, to give people those conspiracy theories that they're like, oh, that's juicy, because they much rather believe the juicy story than the actual fact. I don't know what the actual fact is, but what I can sense is that there is a level of exploitation of this woman and the state that she might be in and the stories that she's telling, in my humble opinion.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something as they did here, they are sending a message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can? I've always believed that the truth will come out in courtrooms, and I'm sure the truth will come out.
This is the first time that we've actually seen someone that was closely associated or friendly with Sean Diddy Combs in any way speak out. And a lot of people have associated and assumed and are predicting that Jay-Z is next. He's the next one in Hollywood to be exposed. And a lot of people have used the excuse, well, no one has ever sued Jaguar Wright. We've refuted those claims multiple times, because keep in mind, guys, if you have nothing to lose, suing Jaguar is not going to stop Jaguar from still speaking. That's the thing. You could sue her and you could even get a judgment. But will that stop her from speaking about you and making these claims? No, we've seen this happen in recent times. That has not stopped someone from speaking. And if you don't have anything to lose, it's even more motivation for you to keep speaking. This is major news in regards to Jay-Z and Beyoncé speaking, because they never do. And the fact that their attorney is speaking on TMZ Live, yes, no matter how you feel about TMZ or whatever it may be, he has to get permission from them to go out and speak to the media on this. He has to receive permission from them to reach out to Piers Morgan and tell him, take that down or else. Or else what? We have to remember a lot of these millionaires and billionaires run in the same circles. I wouldn't be surprised on some level there is a cross-pollination of Jay-Z and Beyonce businesses or future business that Rupert Murdoch is involved in. So it wouldn't shock me because of those relations that Piers Morgan was like, my hands are off. You want me to apologize? I will apologize. My contract is up. Millions of dollars are on the table. I'm not going to risk it over Jaguar Wright. But Pierce knew what he was doing, why he had her on there. There were other channels that had been highlighting Jaguar for years, making tons of money off of her. He wanted in on that. But he got a little bit of it, made his money, and now he's backpedaling. It shouldn't be a surprise if you know Piers Morgan's history. But we also understand as a platform, he had to, as a real journalist, he is a real journalist, he had to be like, well, we can't just say things on platforms without really being able to stand behind those things with actual information. Guys, I did not expect to talk about this Piers Morgan, Beyonce, Jaguar Wright stuff again, but here we are. Beyonce and Jay-Z's attorney is speaking out to TMZ, saying that they never sent a cease and desist, they sent an ultimatum, and that this interview and the accusations that Jaguar Wright made against the Carters actually is dangerous and doesn't help the real victim.
It seems like more people are coming up with their own stories about Diddy and these crazy parties since Cassie came forward. It's not just about the music anymore, we're talking potential criminal charges, civil lawsuits, and a whole lot of reputations on the line. And that's why Beyoncé and Jay-Z are sweating. They've been tight with Diddy for years, running in the same circles and showing up at the same events. Now everyone's wondering just how much they knew about what was really going on. Were they just innocent bystanders, or were they part of the scene? The thing is, Diddy isn't just some random guy in the industry. He's a kingmaker, a tastemaker, someone who can make or break careers, and now his empire is starting to crumble. We're seeing brands cutting ties, collaborators backing away, and even old friends are staying real quiet for B. And this is more than just gossip. Their whole brand is built on being music royalty, the power couple that rose above the drama. But if it turns out they were involved in, or even just knew about these freak-offs, it could seriously damage their image. We're talking about potential lost deals, fan backlash, and maybe even legal trouble if they're found to have been involved in anything shady. So while Diddy's the one in the hot seat right now, the heat is spreading, and in an industry where image is everything, even being associated with this kind of scandal can be career-ending. That's why everyone's watching to see what comes out next, and why Beyoncé and Jay-Z might be feeling the pressure to come clean about what they knew and when they knew it.
Well, I would say this. It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s. And one day, Asner, Kushner, Diddy, and myself went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z. I've never been a Jay-Z fan, you know, like some of his music, the whole 9 yards. But when we went over to the, I think that was Prudential Center in Newark, and him and Puff met up, it was strange to me. Because I remember what Puff was trying to do. And then both of them, they was talking about something amongst each other, amongst all of us, and laughing and joking with each other. Then over the years, I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low key, that low key sneaky shit, and Diddy is and was rambunctious, just out with it. It don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quieter with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? when they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls. They little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah. He was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It's probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them.
Hold on though, why are Beyoncé and Jay-Z suddenly looking like deer in headlights? It seems like there's more to this story than meets the eye. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and some photos from Drake's parties are speaking volumes right now. Social media detectives have been searching through old posts that show Beyoncé and Jay at some of these famous gatherings. We're talking about photos that were likely taken to be private but are now all over the internet. One particularly juicy piece of evidence is a video that has been going viral, which shows Jay-Z looking really cozy with some ladies who aren't, as everyone knows. Jay has a history of going out, but this is really something else. People are discussing whether the Carters were more involved in these freak-offs than anyone realized in this brief footage. But it's not just about what we can see. Some insiders are sharing details about what happened behind closed doors. One anonymous source claims to have seen Bibi at one of these parties, looking way too comfortable for someone who is supposed to be all about family values. We can't confirm if this is true, but if it is, it will be difficult to explain away. And let's not forget about the money trail. You know these celebrities love their fancy gifts, right? Well, some financial records have leaked showing some pretty transactions between Diddy and the Carters. We're talking about pricey jewelry, luxury vacations, and all that kind of stuff. These transactions may not seem like big deals for wealthy people, but given everything else.
Why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no fuck. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come.
So let me ask you, because I look at Gabriel Union, and when you mention things like Jay-Z's time is coming for him, then I look at Beyonce. And I say that, women do have a...
That country album, and any of you that buy that shit are stupid as shit.
You don't give it no
trap
credit.
music with goddamn a holster and a pad.
But she remade Jolene.
That bitch. I'm gonna tell you the song she should have remade. It's a hit. It would have done great for her. She should have tried it on. Tammy Wynette. Classic. Stand by your man. Don't act like you don't know that hell. Remake that. Stand by that. That's a real country hit. Jolene, nice. But it has a ring to it. Stand by your man. Yeah. Whoops you and disrespects you with other like Kathy Coriana White.
In an attempt to undo the damage, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been removing previous Instagram posts one after another in an attempt to eliminate any association with Diddy. But you know how the internet is sometimes their Puerto Rico team has been working on it for a while now. And while they have made some evasive statements about opposing all forms of abuse and supporting victims, they are not directly addressing the rumors. It seems like they are attempting to play both sides, and people are beginning to realize what has really got everyone shook is how this will damage their entire brand. Bean and Jay-Z are more than just performers, they run an entire business. They have created the impression that they are the ultimate power couple, successful in their romance and, importantly, the industry drama, but if it turns out that they were involved in Diddy's problem, everything might fall apart. Jay-Z is supposed to be this business, and Beyonce's whole thing is being the strong, empowered lady who has young girls looking up to her and dubbing her Queen Bee. If she was at these parties knowing what was happening, that would be a difficult pill for her fans to take. Mogul is the model for success, but if he's involved in something shady, his dealings might go south faster than you can imagine. The problem with Empire's state of mind is that, even if they weren't directly involved in anything illegal, just being linked to this scandal is bad news in the entertainment industry. At the moment, B&J's reputation is on shaky ground, and brands are already beginning to become anxious. There have been rumors that some major companies are putting their partnerships with the Carters on hold until this situation is resolved. But will it be resolved? That is the big question.
All right, well, let's do it like
this. Who was actually carrying his baby while you was faking it. Why your husband don't want to put his seed inside of you and put it in everybody else? Wild in this world, yo.
It's funny, you open up Beyonce's internet, it just gets weird.
Beyonce's internet.
That's what we're calling
that
it.
That belongs to the devil. Unless you calling that the devil, she ain't nothing but an employee.
Oh.
A half of which dumbass bitch.
So, you know, it's funny that it's crazy you say these
Why
things.
don't nobody want to accept that bitch?
I think
She went and killed the girl Cats.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was drugged. Beyonce came and she was in there eating on her and shit while she was asleep. No snacking on his bitch, killing people cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician and she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who the fuck goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within the week?
The next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off. Like they paid y'all off for that Astro World.
So, let me ask you.
Texas politics.
Yeah, Texas politics, man. It's that right there. We're gonna talk about the episode, but for right now, I just got to get your take on when we see a Killer Mike win 3 Grammys
and get arrested immediately after because Jay-Z paid somebody to him up just so he couldn't have a good night. You Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
Now, don't get it twisted, this tea's about to get even hotter. What if I told you the Carter's squeaky clean image was always smoking mirrors, girl? The fallout's just getting started. The cracks in Byan and Jay-Z's perfect facade are starting to show, and it's not just about a few wild parties anymore. We're talking about a potential empire crumbling right before our eyes. The streets are buzzing with talk about how deep this mess really goes, and let me tell you, it ain't pretty. First up, let's talk money. You know B&J are all about those big brand deals, right? Well, word on the street is that some major companies are getting cold feet. We're hearing whispers about Ivy Park sales taking a hit and Tidal, that streaming service, might be in hot water too. It's like everything they've built is suddenly on shaky ground. But it's not just about the cash, their whole image is under fire. Remember how Beyonce always been about female empowerment. Now folks are asking how she could be cool with these freak off if she knew what was really going down. And Jay-Z's, his whole reformed player vibe is looking real sus right now. The Beehive is in a frenzy while some fans are riding hard, saying their faves could never be involved in something so messy, but others, they're feeling betrayed like the Wolves been pulled over their eyes for years. Social media is lit up with people picking sides and it's getting ugly.
Yeah, but I have been hearing that a lot. I feel like your girl Jaguar Wright might have been one of the first to really put his name out there. I don't know enough. You know, I will say that Jay-Z, if he was doing ill shit like that, he was more quiet about it. You know what I mean? He was more, but then, if we be real with ourselves, it was kind of abnormal when he got with Beyonce. Like, she was pretty young when he got with her. There's rumors that he was messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young. You know, so there's a lot of those rumors around. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, yeah. And do you hear little things here and there? You know, I'm not gonna lie. When certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. And I don't know how many people are really exempt from it. Because if you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like the ones that are at the top for a long time, I feel like I've heard a rumor damn near about all of them. Not that I've seen anything, but it's always these top motherfuckers. Now, some people will say, oh, well, that's just a hating. It could be. Or it could be that motherfuckers got to join a club in order to get to a certain level. I don't know. I'm not in the club, so I wouldn't know. But it's just a little weird that everybody that goes past a certain point, you'll hear a little. And these be behind the scenes rumors too. This is not just internet shit. This be before the internet existed. You understand? Because it's easy for some shit to fly around now with the internet. But a lot of this shit was pre-internet. And that and it was getting around. You see? So makes it a little different. It still could be some bullshit, but I'm just saying. Some of these rumors been around about people for a long time. You've been hearing little things about them. And have I heard little shit about Jay-Z? Yup. Do I think that he's trying to emulate himself and present himself as a gay painter, like to look like Basquiat? Yup, I do. I think 50 Cent was right about that. I think that's a code to, especially the white people, that he's approachable, he's cultured, but Basquiat was also bisexual. So is that a code that you're trying to tell these white people too? By trying to emulate this guy? I don't know, but it doesn't look good.
Industry insiders are beginning to communicate with. It's like a game of hot potato. No one wants to be caught keeping this secret. And it's not just Rondo talking. One producer who didn't want their name out there spilled some serious tea, saying that everyone knew about Diddy parties, but no one wanted to be the one to speak up. You know how BA and J used to be at every major event, rubbing elbows with everyone? Now it's crickets. Other celebrities are beginning to distance themselves from the Carters. There are no invitations, shout-outs, or anything. It seems like they have the celebrity plague or something. The true question is, though, how this will impact their music. People are already speculating about the lyrics of Beyonce's upcoming album, wondering if she would confront the scandal or dismiss it. What about Jay? His next action might make or break their entire business. Considering that they would have to divide their assets, some people are speculating that this would be the end of the Carters as we know them. The thing is, Beyonce and Jay-Z have been through tough times before. Remember the elevator incident with Souling? But this feels different. We're talking billions of people, their fancy art collection, their real estate empire, all those business ventures, all of that could be up for grabs. The power coups are attempting to maintain their composure in public, but inside, according to people close to them, things are very different. It's bigger, messier, and much more at risk. According to one insider, they're terrified because they realize that this could be the final straw that destroys them. Their legacy is now more important than their careers.
Why do people have such an affinity for Basquiat anyway? I think it's trash. Let me just put it out there. I don't think that Basquiat's art is fucking all brilliant the way they claim it is. It looks like bullshit to me. It's some shit that white people would like. It's not some shit that black people look at and be like, oh my God, that is so impressive. He ran with Andy weirdos like Andy Warhol and Keith Haring. They tried to call Keith Haring graffiti back in the days. I hated Keith Haring's art. It was crap. That was not graffiti. That was a white dude from the village who was inspired by graffiti, who started doing some shit, and because he's white, now he can go to galleries and sell this shit for fucking $50,000. And then you got real blacks and yes, Puerto Ricans, you know, and even some poor white people that were doing graffiti uptown on the trains and shit like that, and they couldn't get no money for their shit, you know? And their shit was way more technical, and you know what I mean? And makes you feel something, and really aligned itself with hip hop. But all of that shit, Keith Haring, Basquiat, Andy Warhol with soup cans, get the fuck out of here. That was some shit where they gamed the people into believing that some bullshit was something special. And Jay-Z was one of the first ones, I think, to really talk about Basquiat. And it's like, why? Then you make a song about Tom Ford. That's another homosexual designer. What is this all about? Like, I don't know when heterosexuals started bigging up homosexuals, starting trying to dress like them, do their hair like them, and making songs about them. I'm just saying, you know. And Jay-Z, I like Jay-Z. I think he's a dope rapper, dope businessman. He used to be my neighbor. We lived in the same building, 560 State Street. But that being said, I'm just telling you what I know and what I've observed.
Beak and Jay-Z built their brand on being untouchable, but now they're looking real human, and not in a good way. This is the big question on everyone's lips as we watch Carter's empire shake like it has never shaken before. It's not just about some wild parties anymore. Reputation, money, and their entire legacy are on the line. One thing is certain, though this drama isn't over yet. Keep your eyes and ears open, because you know there's more tea coming, and when it does, we'll be right here ready to spill the beans. Can music's royal couple weather this storm? Or is this the beginning of the end? Their fans are split, their business deals are hanging by a thread, and the entire industry is watching to see what happens next.